as far as the Rams are concerned, they are, of course, flying high after their biggest win of the year last year, and a big win it was over the Giants. In fact, John Robinson told them this week, he said, don't shave, don't shower, don't even wipe off the blood. Just, I want the same team to show up here today. Do you think that can happen?
Well, it better happen because, you know, they're in a very good position. They've got to win this game. It's an urgent game for them to stay in the race. But I think, really, we're going to see something unusual here this afternoon from a run standpoint. Last week, why the Rams ran away, which they ran to the right, away from Lawrence Taylor. I think this week they're going to run left most of the time against the defensive right end, none of the Phoenix Cardinals, and I think we can look for that to happen in this game this afternoon.
Henry, one thing that the Rams do want to do is run the ball, but look what Phoenix has done. Over the last 4 meetings with NFC Western opponents, they have been victorious. That includes a rather handily thrashing of the Los Angeles Rams here at Anaheim last year. We mentioned what a glorious day it is, and it couldn't be more perfect. It is warm and really unseasonably warm with the Santa Ana winds blowing from the south, 86 degrees, and a little bit of a breeze blowing, but it won't be too much of a factor on the field with Anaheim Stadium being as enclosed as it is. But Henry, you were down on the field, and it is very warm down there.
It's very warm, and the wind is deceptively strong. And again, I know if I were coaching this game this afternoon with the circumstances like they are, I would kind of hope that I would lose the toss so I could take the win.
Well, in fact, the Cardinals have won the toss, and they have elected to receive the football. So they're going to take the ball as Mike Lansford will go out to kick it off. And back deep by Sikahema, who is number 2 in punt returns and averaging over 20 yards in kickoff returns so far this year. He is the man that Phoenix would like the ball to go to. Also back with him is number 20, Darrell Usher, who has come on in the last couple of weeks to return both kicks and punts. Lansford this year's made 14 of 17 field goals and certainly has been one of the more consistent kickers in the National Football League. One of the things, Hank, that was somewhat of a question mark was who was going to start a quarterback for Phoenix because of Tupa relieving Hogeboom last week. So the Cardinals are going to go on offense. Everybody will find out. We think it's going to be Hogeboom, and Lansford's kick taken by Usher about 5 yards deep will not be returned. And it is Gary Hogeboom who comes out to lead the offense. And a hip pointer. And it was replaced in the middle of the game last week by Tom Tupa. Up front for Phoenix, Wolf, Zandowski, Kennard, Smith, Robbins, and Awalt, the tight end. And this group finally sort of getting back together after the injuries. Sikahema and Farrell are expected to be the backs, with Green and Jones the wide receivers. Jordan and Novacek will come off the bench on 3rd down and or long yardage. So 1st and 10, Cardinals at the 20. Balls in motion to the other side. Farrell at fullback, Sikahema at tailback. Fake. Complete to Sikahema, and he's dropped at the 26. Tackled by Mike Wilcher. Defensively for Los Angeles, a unit that has played better of late with Reed, Wright, and Peel at front 3 as they have gone away from the Eagle. For the most part, they still play it, however. Green, Kelm, and Strickland back in the middle have really helped, and Wilcher on the other side. And then the secondary with a couple of changes. Clifford Hicks starting along with Anthony Newman. So a change at right corner and strong safety. Leroy Irvin with a bad foot, but also not being that effective. 2nd and 4. Sikahema, no, it's Jordan. And Alvin Wright breaks through to drop Jordan.
And Wright is playing terrifically well. I think, you know, I don't know whether there's a better nose guy in the National Football League than Wright, number 99. I watch him take a side, get into the gap, look at the penetration, and make the tackle. But he's quick off the ball. He's big and he's strong and has terrific quickness and terrific agility.
And Wright comes out on 3rd down and 7 after the loss. Clifford Hicks, Darrell Henley. Extra DBs in. Hogeboom from the shotgun. Intercepted. Picked off by Michael Stewart. And Stewart scores. Touchdown, Los Angeles.
They're playing a zone, and Stewart, number 23, is back there playing the quarterback, watching his eyes and watching where he's going to throw the ball. There he releases the ball, and he's really the only one that's open. He throws it right over the top of the would-be receiver, and of course Stewart takes it right down the sideline, a good block downfield, and he goes in for the touchdown. And what a great way to start for the Rams.
George Bethune, a rookie out of Alabama, with the block as Lansford gets the extra point. And very quickly, Los Angeles jumps out to a 7-0 lead with 13-14 left to go in the first quarter. Michael Stewart's 41-yard return with the intercepted pass, as Gary Hogeboom overthrew Ernie Jones, has given the Los Angeles Rams a fast start, a 7-0 lead with less than 2 minutes gone in the first quarter. And the Rams have scored a lot of points in the first quarter, Hank, second most in the entire league.
Yeah, but sometimes that can be very deceptive. Sometimes you score right off the bat, and all of a sudden you think it's going to be an easy game, and it winds up being a very difficult game. It's a long way to go, and it's good to get off to that kind of a start, but you can't let it sink in and think it's going to be an easy game.
Again for the Cardinals, by Sikahema and Darrell Usher back to receive Lansford's kickoff. They kick away from Sikahema, and Usher takes it at about the 1 yard line. Out to about the 21 in the grasp of Frank Stram. And it'll be 1st and 10 Cardinals. One of the things, Hank, early in the season that killed the Cardinals, in addition to injuries, were the turnovers. But boy, have they made a great improvement in that turnover ratio in the last few weeks.
Well, it's very obvious. Look at the first 6 games. They had minus 17 turnovers, and their record was 2-4. In the last 4 games, they've had plus 9 turnovers, and their record was 3-1. So if you don't think field position and turnovers play a vitally important role, you're kidding yourself.
Gene Stallings certainly knows that, but he has not let it be an excuse. Hogeboom right back to throw on first down, in and out of the hands of Rob Awald, the tight end. He was covered by Larry Kelm, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
That ball should have been caught by Awald that time. The ball was thrown well enough to be caught. We'll see it right here as he comes into the picture. He should have caught that ball, no question about it. The linebacker, Kelm, was right on him, but in spite of that, he should have caught the ball.
Awald a couple of weeks ago complaining that he wasn't getting the ball enough. Quick hitting play with Earl Farrell, the ball carrier, to about the 25 for a gain of about 3. So it'll be 3rd down. Strickland and Peel on the stop.
You know, that time they went on a quick count, and I think it's very important for an offensive team to use quick counts on occasions, especially as much as teams shift and create formations in the National Football League. Shifting doesn't mean anything if you never go on a quick count.
So now brings up 3rd down and 7. It was on 3rd and 7, the first possession, that Stewart picked off the overthrown pass by Hogeboom and ran it back to the Rams' touchdown. 6 DBs in for Los Angeles and 4 wide receivers for Phoenix. Novacek in motion. Hogeboom under pressure, and he completes it, but it's not going to be enough for a first down. Roy Green making the catch and Jerry Gray the tackle, and it'll be 4th down.
Green runs a little turn in here to the inside, gets off the line of scrimmage. Here you see him come right in. Now he turns to the outside. The ball is high. Gray makes the tackle, but it's not enough for the first down.
Roy, of course, playing after breaking his clavicle and missing a number of games. It was one of a long list of hurts for Phoenix. Rich Camarillo averaging over 43 yards a punt, and Darrell Henley averaging about 11 yards per return back for Los Angeles. Not a good kick. Low and wobbly, but it does get a Phoenix bounce, and it goes out of bounds at about the 25 of Los Angeles. So the Rams, who lead 7-0 after a 44-yard punt, will go on offense, leading 7-0. The Los Angeles Rams are sponsoring a canned food drive here today at Anaheim Stadium, and earlier fans were donating canned goods for the homeless in Orange County. And among those donating, Los Angeles Rams quarterback Jim Everett, who has pledged 100 cans of food for each point that the Rams score today. He hasn't even touched the ball, Hank, and he already owes 700 cans.
I wonder if he has an escape clause in that contract.
Maybe he gets out of any points scored by the defense. But the Rams on offense for the first time today, they lead 7-0. If you joined us late, Michael Stewart picked off a Hogeboom pass and returned it 43 yards for a score. LA at the 25.
He might throw the ball to the right side here on the first down. Let's see. Yep.
A quick out and complete to Henry Ellard. And Ellard up near a first down at the 35 before Freddie Joe Nunn comes back and makes the tackle.
They send the halfback in motion to the opposite side to get a rotation over there away from Ellard. He throws the ball quickly in front of the defensive backs, but what happens is, you see, he's got such great ability to run with the ball once he catches it that he stretches that 4 or 5 yard gain into one about 8 or 9 yards.
Got away from Tim McDonald, who was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week. A gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Bell's first carry. Greg Bell cutting back. He has the first down as he gets to about the 39. Freddie Joe Nunn and Anthony Bell on the stop. Up front for the Rams, a veteran offensive line. They are large but have come under fire in this season for perhaps being too veteran. Pankey, Newberry, Smith, Slater, and Slayton, with Damone Johnson, the tight end. McGee and Bell, the runners. Anderson and Ellard, the receivers, with Holohan and Cox, the third down or long yardage additions. 1st and 10 Rams at their own 40. Everett incomplete, underthrew Henry Ellard, who was open. So it'll be 2nd down and 10, still at the 40 of Los Angeles. Defensively for the Cardinals, they have really had a shakeup up front. Wilson starting, Sadler, Waller starting in place of Gary Hadd. Freddie Joe Nunn, of course, was out on a suspension, in fact. Bell, Hill, and Harvey about the only guys on the defense who've been around the whole year for the most part. And in the secondary, Mack, Carter, McDonald, and Young, with Taylor and Zordich, who has lost his starting job, coming off the bench. Lonnie Young now starting in place of Zordich at safety. Pitch to Bell, fake reverse to Brown, and Bell up to about the 42 before he is knocked down.
That play was run to destroy a key. Normally when they fake, when Brown is at the outside position, he runs a reverse. This time they wanted to fake that reverse like they were going to give it to him and then keep the ball. The back keep the ball. That time they didn't fool him very much, and they got good reaction on the backside.
We'll keep you up to date with scores, both final and in progress today. Earlier, Tampa Bay leading their game. New Orleans has already won their game. 3rd down, 8. Intended for Aaron Cox and overthrown, and Lonnie Young had the coverage. So far, Coach Everett has looked a little off in his timing. He's been underthrowing and overthrowing.
Yes, and that's unusual because that time he had plenty of time to throw the ball. The pass protection was excellent.
So Dale Hatcher on to kick it away, last in the NFC in punting. By Sikahema, who is 2nd in the NFC to Walter Stanley of Detroit in punt returns, is standing at about his own 15. And Hatcher, as he will do, kicks it to the right. And this is a good one. Fair catch by Sikahema at the 8 of Phoenix. A 50-yard punt by Dale Hatcher, and take a picture of that. You won't see it very often.
Well, the great thing about Hatcher is the fact that he can hang the ball up there so high. He has trouble kicking the ball to his left, but down the middle and to the right is he's an exceptional kicker. And I asked him about his time. You know, the ball should be in the air. He said the coaches say it's fine if I kick it 4.5 or 4.6, but I'm really not satisfied unless I kick it about 5.1 or 5.2 with a hang time of 5.2.
Great punt that time. And on 1st down, a short gain out to about the 10-yard line by Tony Jordan. Kevin Green on the stop. Jordan bothered by a bad shoulder. back in there this week. The budding disc jockey has over 1,000 records. But it takes more than a record collection to make a disc jockey.
I'm sure he'd like to break a lot of records as a football player, too.
Gain of 2, second and 8. Farrell, maybe a yard, and that's it. He gets to about the 12. A lot of blue shirts there as the Rams are pursuing well.
One thing that they have a problem with, Steve, as you know, talking about the Cardinals, it's very difficult for them to get outside. They have to run the ball if they're going to succeed. They have to run between the tackles, and, you know, people close in on that, and sometimes it's very difficult.
And the Rams have been very good against the run of late. So Hogeboom goes to 4 wide receivers in the shotgun on 3rd down and 6. Sikahema has the first down as he gets to about the 21. Anthony Newman, the strong safety, made the stop.
They don't put a lot of pressure on him. There's a 4-man rush. And he steps up into the pocket nicely. A short pattern, a crossing pattern to Sikahema. And he knows exactly where he has to go, and he makes the necessary yardage for the first down.
Sikahema has been a 3rd down specialist on this team, but with the injuries has begun to play a little more on other down. One back set for Phoenix on 1st and 10. Quick pass and in and out of the hands of Ernie Jones. He was hit right away by Jerry Gray, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
That was an automatic that time. He changed the ball on the line of scrimmage, and they automatically go to a slant pass. Here you see it. Gray is a little bit outside, and the ball is thrown just a little bit to the outside on his left shoulder, and for that reason, he drops the ball right about the time he's hit by the defensive back.
And Hank, that's the 2nd drop Phoenix has had. So both teams struggling a little bit to get their offenses going. Wilcher brings down Hogeboom at the 20. Mike Wilcher's 4th sack of the season.
Watch Wilcher on the right side of your screen, coming from the outside, blitzing. The young tackle, number 68, is trying to block him, but he doesn't do a good job, Joe Wolf. And he starts to the outside, breaks inside, and makes the sack. Hogeboom. A great move on the part of Wilcher.
Wolf really playing out of position because he's supposed to be a guard, but he's had to play tackle because of those injuries. Third down. Penalty flag down. And so is Sikahema short of the first down at about the 26. The flag was thrown where one would expect holding, and that is the preliminary indication from referee Red Cashin.
Holding, number 62 on the offense. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Gene Stallings, Hank, has had frustration from injuries, penalties, turnovers, anything you can think of.
But in spite of that, he's done a terrific job of selling his team that they can still win.
So here's Camarillo to punt on 4th down, and Darrell Henley dropping back for a long hand look. Nice high hanger, and Henley forced all the way back to about the 23. Good move. And Henley's still going, and the ball comes out. But it's going to be ruled down at the Los Angeles 40. The ball popped out, but it will not be a fumble. A 52-yard punt and an 18-yard return by Darrell Henley.
There you see him making a move to the inside, carrying the ball away from pressure. Even though he gets hit near the ball, he still hangs on dearly with it, and no fumble on the play.
Rookie linebacker Eric Hill was injured on the punt return and is limping off the field after being down on the field for a couple of minutes. And it looked like, as is often the case, Hank, with injuries to defensive players, they more often happen when two defenders run into each other.
And they'll definitely miss him an awful lot because he's playing very, very well. A terrific prospect. I think he's going to be an all-pro player someday if he stays healthy.
Rams have good field position and a 7-0 lead with 5:53 to go in the first quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 39. Everett on a quick count, completing it to Robert Del Pino. Del Pino dropped right away by Lonnie Young, the free safety, but a good gain on 1st down up to the 46.
Interesting, you know, when quarterbacks drop straight back into the pocket without turning a shoulder and backpedal initially, while they normally will throw the ball to the left. And that's true of almost every quarterback in the National Football League.
You saw that the Green Bay Packers are leading on a Don Majkowski pass. The San Francisco 49ers. Greg Bell. And the blocking broke down and a penalty flag went down. Looked like Jim Waller might have jumped off sides for Phoenix. Now here's a look at Bell's first 5 weeks and the last 5 weeks. I think there are some ancillary reasons for this, Hank, but certainly his effectiveness has fallen off lately.
Well, he gets an awful lot of work. He got an awful lot of work early in the season.
66 on the defense. 1st down.
And very frankly, I think he starts to wear down a little bit. And as a result, they're very, very concerned about that, the coaching staff of the Rams. And so I think we'll see a bigger distribution of running backs in this game to make sure they all stay fresh so they can all express that talent and skill and ability.
The penalty on Waller being offsides gives the Rams a 1st down at the Phoenix 49. Everett to throw. Good protection. Over the middle, complete to Ellard. Ellard spins away. Ellard will score. Henry Ellard gets away from Lonnie Young and Tim McDonald for a 49-yard touchdown.
And it all starts here. It all starts with pass protection. The pass protection was excellent. Look at all the time he has to throw the football, and they throw what they call a skinny post. A skinny post. There he is. Ellard makes the catch, and the skinny post is a pattern between the cornerback and the safety. They had a chance to make the tackle, but they missed the tackle, and it goes all the way for the touchdown.
Lansford splits the uprights as usual, and with 4:41 left to go in the first, the Rams increase their early lead 14-0 over Phoenix. Henry Ellard, who is the Rams' leading receiver, but last week only caught 1 pass against the Giants. And watch this celebration. He is a happy guy as he's back in the flow in a big way. His 7th touchdown of the season as he and Flipper Anderson celebrated, and the Rams lead 14-0. Took him only 2 plays, and of course it was set up by an 18-yard punt return by Darrell Henley. And the Rams were helped out by an offside penalty to Jim Waller of Phoenix. So Lansford to kick off again. Again, it's Sikahema and Usher who are back. And again, it's going to be Usher who takes it at about the 8. Not much help. And down there in a hurry is Frank Stams and Mike McDonald. We're at Anaheim Stadium on a glorious afternoon in Southern California, where the Rams have jumped out in front to a 14-0 lead. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram with you this afternoon. Now, Hank, Phoenix needs to generate something. They've been unable to really get any kind of a drive going.
Well, they haven't had good field position to begin with, and it's hard to do much business from bad field position.
They start at their own 19. Complete to Ernie Jones, who breaks 1 tackle and has a first down as he gets out to about the 43. A 24-yard gain. Mel Owens ran him down.
I'll tell you one thing, Hogeboom stayed in that pocket good. There was pressure coming right up the middle and the outside, and in spite of that, he was still able to get the ball off right on the money. Reed, 93, put pressure on Hogeboom.
And the Chicago Bears have come back to take a 2-point lead in the fourth quarter over Tampa Bay after the Bucks had led earlier. Phoenix now with good field position, 1st and 10, outside their own 42. Earl Farrell. Good open field tackle by Clifford Hicks, who has taken Leroy Urban's spot at the starting right cornerback. Miami came back against the Dallas Cowboys. And the 49ers have scored to tie it up. Giants ahead early. Loss on the play, so it is now 2nd down and 13. Sekihima can't get outside. 2 Rams waiting for him, Larry Kelm and Michael Stewart. Fred Shermer, the defensive coordinator, Hank, can't say enough about having Kelm and Strickland back.
Well, the great thing about those 2 players is that they know exactly what's supposed to be done. They're the communicators on defense, and everybody has a great deal of confidence in them, so it's a lot easier.
And the defense has played a whole lot better since their return. 3rd down and 13, still at the Phoenix 40. Hogeboom trying to run, caught from behind. Brent Fairness tracked him down. Phoenix will have to punt it again.
Fairness comes in there and makes the play. Hogeboom back in the pocket. He jumps up into the pocket, has to go to the outside and watch the backside. Fairness makes the tackle, shoestring tackle from the backside. Good effort, good hustle on his part.
Camarillo on the punt. Darrell Henley back to receive for the Rams. Camarillo hits another good one. Henley lets it bounce on the 5, and it goes in and out of the end zone for the touchback. A 57-yard punt. Well, this Thursday, CBS Sports will present a very special Thanksgiving Day special, an NFC Eastern confrontation between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. It all begins with the NFL Today, beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time, Thanksgiving Day, right here on CBS. The Thanksgiving edition of the NFL Today. So that big fan on the sideline. There's going to be some busy trainers there, Hank.
Well, there's a lot of hotness in the air. I'll tell you, I was down on the field before the game, and it was hot.
Extra hotness.
Hotness has got them.
Tabasco sauce going. Everett 1st and 10 at the 20. Rams leading 14-0. Quick hitting play inside with McGee, the ball carrier. Robert Del Pino it is, who's in at fullback in place of Buford McGee. He gained maybe a half a yard is all. But he's been quite a story, Hank. Del Pino has done it all for them this year.
Well, they like him so much because he's a hard worker, very dependable, very steady, a great competitor. He reminds me an awful lot of our great back at Kansas City, Eddie Podolak. Very much the same kind of a back.
He's out of there now as the Rams go to 3 wide receivers on 2nd and 10. 2 extra defensive backs for Phoenix, but they draw play to Bell, and Greg Bell able to get only a couple. Coming up very quickly, Tim McDonald, the strong safety, with help from Anthony Bell.
Watch the lineman pull on this trap, the right guard and also the right tackle. But look at the down block by Cox, number 72. He really got a terrific block down, and as a result created a big hole and a lot of running room for the ball carrier Bell.
Time is running out here in the first quarter, and the Rams are just going to let it run out as they all begin to walk to the other end of the field. Los Angeles with a 14-0 lead as the first quarter comes to an end.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler, where we still believe there is no luxury without engineering. The good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Miller Lite, America's favorite light beer, brings you the Miller Lite All-Star Super Bowl game.
Well, Hank, it's nice to see our Polish compatriot again, Joe Jetski, enjoying the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, and he was a good defensive back for the Jets, too.
I thought he played for you.
No. Played for the Jets. Stash Jetski.
The perfect name for the Jets. Rams leading 14-0 as we start the second quarter. They have it 3rd down and 7 at their own 23. Everett going long. For Anderson, a little too long. Anderson had Jay Taylor beaten, but Everett just overthrew him. There is a penalty flag down, however, around midfield.
And that looked like an automatic.
It also looks like pass interference against Phoenix.
Illegal contact. Number 27 on the defense. First down.
And the reaction of Gene Stallings tells it all. Well, that's got to be further. You get the team stopped, and then the penalty gives them life again. Jay Taylor, a rookie from San Jose State.
And they said going into the game, if they have an opportunity, they're going to find him, and they're going to try to go up on top. That's exactly what they did in the last play, and they blitzed. And they looked like they changed the play to line of scrimmage.
Now it's 1st and 10 on the penalty. Everett trying to go long again, and Ellard can't come down with it. Right in front of Cedric Mack. A little too tall. Green Bay and San Francisco tied at 7 in the first quarter. And Philadelphia, another one of those squeakers. They beat Minnesota by 1 point. And there's an upset.
You talk about a stock market team. Boy, they're hard to figure.
It's up and down like a yo-yo. 2nd down and 10. Cleveland Gary in the game. He drags Carl Wilson for a couple of yards out to the 30. Let's go back and check the NFC Central. Look at this one. Chicago had come back to take a 2-point lead, but Tampa Bay kicks a field goal to beat the Bears by 1 point, 32-31. Cincinnati all over Detroit. So let's look at the standings in the NFC Central. Minnesota loses to Philadelphia. Chicago loses to Tampa Bay. The Packers are playing the 49ers. So Green Bay's got to be fired up about those two teams losing. Everett with lots of time. Misses Ellard. And it's almost grabbed by Phoenix. So it'll be 4th and 8. And the Rams will give it up. Dale Hatcher on to punt. By Sekahima back for the Cardinals at about his 25. Takes it at the 30. 13:58 to go in the second quarter. A 40-yard punt by Dale Hatcher, and the Rams lead 14-0. Two big plays have done it for the Los Angeles Rams today. One on defense, Michael Stewart's interception return, and a pass to Henry Ellard for an offensive touchdown. And it's been all Los Angeles on the scoreboard. But, Hank, the Phoenix Cardinals have had the ball more. I mean, they had twice as long in the first quarter. They can't do anything with it, though.
Well, the only thing that's important is quality time. What do you do with that time? You have to get points. I never forget, we played Notre Dame one year, broke their string. They had 93 plays. We had 42, threw 4 touchdown passes, won the game.
Yeah, well, Henry Eller made another big play, and when you make plays like this, you don't have to have it for long. 49-yarder.
And here's a skinny post, right between the corner and the safety. They throw that on a 3-step drop, and then they add 2 more steps and throws it right on time. Beautifully thrown.
So the Rams up 14-0. First and 10 Phoenix. Their best field position to start of the day. Tony Jordan gets across the 30 before Larry Kelm makes the tackle. Vince Newsom also up there quickly from free safety. Short yardage gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And the Rams are using an awful lot of zone defense, and I think the Cardinals would much rather throw against man for man.
I think the Cardinals might have expected the Rams to play more man for man than they have. You got a lot of people up on the line now, and Hogeboom trying to beat it, overthrows it, and it's picked off by Jerry Gray. Gray knocked down by his own player, Alvin Wright, but he brought it back to the 40. Second interception of Hogeboom. The other one returned for a touchdown.
Now, when you throw this kind of a pattern, you want to throw it to the outside, and that's exactly what Hogeboom. He didn't have an awful lot of time because they were blitzing up the middle. He read the blitz, and he tries to throw it on the outside. However, Jones is running inside. Watch Jones. He's running inside. The ball was thrown outside, and for that reason, Gray is able to make the interception and bring it back, and another opportunity for the Rams with good field position.
Turnovers again, haunting the Cardinals. As Jerry Gray's interception, first of the year, puts the Rams back in business at the Cardinals 40. Bell, good block from McGee, and Bell inside the 35 before he's tackled by Tim McDonald. Well, McGee just buried the linebacker, and Bell ripped off about 7 or 8.
The Ram offensive line is really coming off the ball and making things happen, getting a good push at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 2 yards to go. Del Pino in for Bell, cuts back beautifully to the corner. Did he get in? Apparently not. The Rams think he did. The pylon was bent to the outside. Del Pino thought he did, but they're going to mark it on the 1/2-yard line.
Well, the important thing is, where was the ball? That's the big thing. Where was the ball? Was it in his left arm or the right arm? If it's in the right arm, a lot of times it doesn't get in the end zone. In that situation, that's one time. Let's see where it is. Yeah, he's got it in the right arm, you see.
I still think he got it inside the pylon, Hank.
It's awful close. It's awful close. Let's see. I couldn't tell from that last angle. I still can't tell. It's inconclusive as far as we're concerned, but anyway, that's what happened. If the ball was not across the line, didn't break the plane, it's not a touchdown.
Gaylord Bryan is the replay official, and they are reviewing the play right now.
That's one time a ball carrier, as he's running to the right, going in for a touchdown. He's better off to have the ball in the left arm, because if that would happen, he's going to still have the ball across the plane. On the right hand, why, that could happen to you. You get knocked out of bounds, and your feet are in bounds, but the ball is out of bounds, and they call it not a touchdown.
But you still, you can't really fault him, Hank, because he's carrying the ball in the correct arm.
Oh, sure,
because of the pressure from the left.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about that.
What you see guys do sometimes is reach out with both hands and put the ball in front of them in order to get it in the end zone. But boy, it's a tough call on the replay, but it certainly looked like his arm was inside that pylon, which is there for that particular purpose. Del Pino certainly thought he got in, but what would you expect? He's not going to get up and say, no, move it back, guys, it's okay.
Yeah, he's not going to go to the officials and say, no, I didn't make that touchdown.
There's the umpire, Bob Wagner.
Based on review by the replay official, the play is ruled as a touchdown.
Well, there it is. Evidently, the ball did cross the plane.
Let's take another look at it. He's going into those shadows, and it makes it difficult to see.
See, it's a shadow there. It's very hard to see that, but it looks like he did get it inside the pylon. It really did.
So it is a touchdown run for Robert Del Pino, and Lansford quickly out now out of the hold of Pete Holohan to attempt the extra point. 12:23 remaining in the second quarter. The Rams' fast start gets even faster, 21-0. Gene Stallings is talking to the side judge, Howard Slavin. The only reason he's talking to that particular official is it's the closest one to him. He wanted to get to the first one he could. He's not happy. Lansford to kick it off. Not sure about the 2. Breaks one tackle. Flag goes down as Usher is hauled down at about the 26. Brent Baronez and Michael Stewart on the stop, and Red Cashin says we've got an illegal block against Phoenix on the run back. So the Cardinals' problems continue.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 34 of the receivers. First down and 10.
Phoenix with a chance for good field position, but they lose that. Jesse Clark. Jesse the Body Clark, reserve running back, the culprit. So from their own 10, first and 10 Cardinals. And Tom Tupa is in at quarterback as Hogeboom threw 2 interceptions. Tony Jordan trying to get outside. Too many blue shirts. Vince Newsom and Jerry Gray up.
That's unusual to see an outside play. You don't see one white shirt out there to help him at all. Nobody. Send a guy in motion. They toss it out here to the right side. You don't see a white shirt at all trying to block for the ball carrier, Jordan, number 32.
And Doug Reed of the Rams is injured, and that has brought John Robinson as well as the training staff out onto the field to see what the problem is. And from the reaction of one of the trainers there, it doesn't look to be very good.
And it looked like the lineman said that time, we're not supposed to be able to run outside. How come we're running outside? There's nobody there.
They stood around and watched the play. Crowd applauding an announcement that Green Bay has taken a 14-7 lead over the San Francisco 49ers. Mikowski with his second TD pass of the game.
One thing you can say about the National Football League is very predictable from week to week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally unpredictable. They've strived to have parity, and it appears as if it's close. But big concern on the part of the Rams over the injury to Doug Reed. Phoenix, of course, has seen this happen a multiplicity of times week after week, and there aren't many survivors. Defensively, the 3 linebackers and 2 defensive backs are the only guys that have played all season with any regularity. But look at offensively. On offense, there have only been 2 players who have played all season, Lance Smith and Rob Awalt.
It's amazing how many injuries have happened or occurred this year in the National Football League to almost every team. I think probably the 49ers are the team that has had fewer injuries than anybody else in the league. I think the New Orleans Saints have been very, very fortunate too. They haven't had many injuries, and that's always a very important factor.
So Big Doug Reed out of San Diego State helped off. Second down and 12 now after the loss of 2. Cooper right on the goal line, incomplete, intended for Ewald. He was knocked down as the ball went by, but there was a flag thrown on the play before the pass was thrown. And it's offsides against Los Angeles.
Offside. Number 54 on the defense. Still second down.
Doug Reed having the tape cut from his ankle and shoe. Apparently it is an ankle injury, and he's been replaced by Sean Miller, number 98.
And Sean Miller got a pretty good rush that time too. Got in the face of the quarterback.
Some surprises. Eagle Beat with a 28-yard field goal for Tampa Bay with 2 seconds left. Beat the Chicago Bears. Earl Farrell banging up across the 15. And he's going to be short of the first down. They need to get to the 20. It'll bring up third down. The Bengals playing better. Esiason almost 400 yards today.
Yeah, they were really upset about that loss to Houston on Monday night.
Tom Tupa replacing Gary Hogeboom at quarterback. Tupa in his second year out of Ohio State. Phoenix 1 of 5 on third down conversions today. Novacek in motion. Tupa with time. Completes it to Green, but well, he will have enough for the first down. His forward progress marked at the 21. Anthony Newman and Leroy Irvin on the stop.
He throws out to the right side to Green. Protection is excellent. A four-man rush, and he hits that area between the linebackers. He makes the catch, and it obviously is enough for the first down.
Green worked a lot with the coaches when he was out with that broken foot. Somebody moved on the offensive line as the ball was snapped, and whistles blow. Sean Miller throwing Earl Farrell around, and Farrell doesn't like it.
I think it was Joe Wolf, number 68, who moved prematurely on the play.
So the officials confer, and it would appear to be a mark-off. Now it is third down. No, I mean it's first down.
False start. Right tackle on the offense. Still first down.
It's going to be first down and 15. Gene Stallings, who spent 12 years with Bear Bryant, 14 years with Tom Landry, and is really a product of those two coaches, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And of course, he's used what he learned from them, but he's got a lot of good ideas of his own.
On first and 15. Good protection for Tupa, and Ewald with a good grab at the 20. They get back some of the yardage. Clifford Hicks on the coverage. But the Cardinals still struggling to get out of their own end zone practically. Their deepest penetration so far, Hank, has been their own 45-yard line.
And the tough thing in a situation like this, when they're behind by 21 points, you know, you have to throw to get back into the football game, and especially they haven't been able to run very much, so that's a tough way to go when the opposition knows you're going to throw.
Second down and 11. Jones in motion. Tupa chased out. He makes Owens miss. Knocked down as he gets to the 31, and he's very close to a first down. Jerry Gray made the stop. A good effort by Tupa.
That time the defense rolled the zone to the right, to the quarterback's left. Now watch, he's back in. Now look at the alley to his right. He sees it quickly, takes advantage of it, makes a good move. Good move there to the outside, and makes enough yardage perhaps to make the necessary yardage for the first down. But a good move, a good decisive move by Tupa.
It is enough for a first down, as it'll be at the 31 of Phoenix. Just over 8 minutes to go in the first half. 21-0 Los Angeles. Play action. Knocked down. Looked like Mike Wilcher on the blitz got his hand up and batted it away.
Play action is not a good pattern to throw against a blitzing situation because you waste a lot of time faking the ball. You don't fool anybody because the defense is rushing. Wilcher on the left side of your screen coming inside. There he jumps up in the air, knocks the ball down, but it takes too much time when they're blitzing to throw a play action pass. You like that reading against a reading defense or a zone.
We get word that Doug Reed's left ankle is being x-rayed here at the stadium to see if it in fact is broken. Second down and 10. 4 wideouts in for Phoenix and 5 DBs for the Rams. Complete to Novacek at the 35. And it'll be well short of the first down yardage. It'll be third down. We're in Anaheim Stadium on a glorious Sunday afternoon in Southern California. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram with you, where the Rams have been in command and started fast with a defensive touchdown that got them on the board, and then big plays have added to it. A long pass to Everett and a run by Del Pino. And they're in command with the Cardinals struggling. Cooper from the shotgun on 3rd and 5. Bad snap. And all he can do is fall on it at the 29. Covered right there by Bill Hawkins because he could have gotten up and run again.
Tupa did a smart thing that time. The ball fell right down in front of him. It's silly to try to pick it up. That's what a lot of guys try to do. They try to pick it up and run with it. He pounces on it as soon as he possibly can and just satisfied to maintain possession of the ball rather than kick it around and play like he's playing soccer and then have the opposition recover the fumble.
The Cardinals have had enough big plays on turnovers. Darrell Henley back for Rich Camarillo's punt. And he drives one out of there. Henley at about the 20. To about the 30. Ilya Jaraschuk down to make the stop. A 50-yard punt and a 10-yard return by Darrell Henley. 21-0 Los Angeles with 6:48 to go in the first half. And we may have a penalty flag down. And if we did, somebody picked it up.
Holding after the ball was kicked. Number 26 by the receivers. It'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot the ball was caught. First down at 10.
So Anthony Newman called for holding after the ball was in the air, and that'll move the Rams back when we come back. The Rams will start with their worst field position of the day, as they have enjoyed the best of it here so far in many respects, including a 21-0 lead. First and 10 Los Angeles at their own 10 after the holding penalty on the punt. .6:48 left to go in the second quarter. Short pass and a completion to Pete Holohan out to about the 16. Tim McDonald trying to rip it away from him.
Holohan is anchored on the left side, and he just comes right across the line of scrimmage, just very short. Protection is good, and he throws the ball perfectly, and you can't cover much better than that. McDonald is covering him man for man. He was right there, but the ball was thrown perfect.
Second down and 4. Greg Bell cutting back and getting hammered. Dropped immediately by Jim Waller, a rookie out of UCLA who is starting in place of Gary Hadd, who has bad knees.
And you know, the Rams have run the counter play, a counter trap with pulling the right guard and the right tackle a couple of times with great success. And I look for them to run that again here pretty soon, because especially to the left side, that's where they're running most of the times. We talked about it right before the game.
Bell gained only 1, so it's 3rd and 3. The ball at the 12. Or 17, I should say. And it's complete to Del Pino. Another big play. Del Pino fighting to stay in bounds. Dragged out by Lonnie Young, the free safety. But more than the first down. 22-yard gain.
You talk about running for your life. That's the way he runs every play. Good pressure. Bell blitzing on the outside. The back is open in the flat. Linebacker is coming over to try to help out, but he misses the tackle. Del Pino goes right down the sideline. Got the ball away from pressure, uses his shoulder, and gets a pretty good shot at Young before he finally stops.
So the Rams out to their own 39. 1st and 10. Del Pino, the ball carrier. And he bangs across the 40 to about the 43. Freddie Joe Nunn and Lonnie Young on the stop. Talking to Robert at practice on Friday, he was telling us he really is comfortable with this role in his 2nd year. He, like all players, would like to play every down, but he likes the way that he's being worked into the offense, and he's certainly responding to it.
Well, I would think so. He's only averaged about 2 or 3 carries a game coming into this game, and so I'm sure he would love this situation.
John Robinson says the more I see him, the more I like it. Del Pino again on 2nd down across the 45. Jim Waller and Carl Wilson on the tackle. Now Bell and Willie Anderson come back into the game, and Del Pino comes out. Down and 3. And this is the 6th play of the drive. Rams at their own 46. Fake to Bell. Everett to McGee. He was up near midfield, driven back by Cedric Mack, but it is enough for a Los Angeles 1st down. We talked earlier about Freddie Joe Nunn coming back from his suspension, and let's look at number 78.
We see him on the left side right here, coming on the outside of Slater, and then he goes inside. Now he spins. Slater is holding on the play. He spins away, and Everett finally gets rid of the ball in good shape. But basically, as we talked about it earlier, they are definitely trying to run away from Nunn because they think he's the best defensive lineman on the field.
McGee banging straight ahead. Ilya Jarostchuk and Lonnie Young bring him down. He's well into Phoenix territory. Down near the 43. Rams are running a lot more different running backs than John Robinson ordinarily does, Hank. He's usually a one-back guy.
And he mentioned that before. You know, when we talked to him the other day, Steve, he said that he was going to do this and that he's following the plan. A lot of times coaches say they're going to do things and they don't do it when the game starts.
No, and he admitted that he has to force himself to do it. It goes against his nature. Bell again, but Phoenix right in there, tackling him almost in the backfield. Virtually no gain on the play. Anthony Bell coming through very quickly along with Tim McDonald. And that might be the last play before the 2-minute warning. And it will be, as the clock will run down. 2 minutes to go in the first half here in Anaheim, and the Los Angeles Rams have the football at a comfortable 21-0 lead. Just a few moments ago, Gene Stallings was making a very emphatic point to linebacker Ilya Jarostchuk. I think, Hank, the frustration is building.
Well, I think when people make a mistake during the course of the game, they have to be reminded of that mistake. And if they do something good, the same thing, you pat them on the back. That's what he has to do, and that's the motivation that takes place on the sideline during the course of the game when a guy does a bad job.
Third down and 3 for the Rams. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Everett flips it out complete to McGee, or Cox. It's Aaron Cox who is thrown out of bounds at about the 37 by Lonnie Young. So it will be enough for a Los Angeles first down, but there is a penalty flag in the Rams backfield.
Holding. Number 66 on the offense. Still third down.
Interesting to watch the feet of the quarterback. Everett keeps his left foot back to avoid a false step, plus the fact that he doesn't want to be stepped on by Tom Newberry, the left guard, when he pulls. And so as a result, he keeps it back there because he thinks he gets better separation, plus the fact that he keeps it away from very dangerous Tom Newberry when he's pulling.
Now, he was telling us at practice on Friday, Everett was, that Newberry has quick feet, perhaps quicker than he does, so he has to get that foot out of the way. Nothing more embarrassing than to have your own guy step on you and go down. Everett throwing long, and Anderson wide open. Bumped out of bounds by McDonald at the 15. A 37-yard gain.
And here they're throwing, it looks like, into a double zone, but the safety man didn't get over there fast enough to help make the play. Threw it between the safety and the corner. Here you see it in flight. There you see the safety coming over on top, but there's too much room between the corner and the safety.
Willie Anderson averaging 31.5 yards per catch with a 37-yarder. He's had a 78-yard touchdown reception this year. Rams first and 10 to the 15. Batted away. A sling pass intended for Bell, slapped out of there by Carl Wilson.
In the middle of the screen, Carl Wilson. Watch him now. He leaps high. Pankey is trying to block him, but he doesn't block him low. As a result, the hand goes up and he knocks the ball down. It falls incomplete.
Good play by Wilson. And it brings up second down and 10 just inside the Phoenix 15. This is the 11th play of this drive. Bell gets a block on the corner, trying to follow Newberry, and gets down to about the 10. Lonnie Young, the free safety, made the stop again.
And there again, they caved the inside in, and Bell was a little slow reading the hole and got there not as fast as he usually does, or else he'd have made a lot more yardage on that play.
Rams content to just let the clock run. Getting down to 1:15 left to go in the half. Everett signaling to the bench. They're down to about 11 seconds on the 30-second clock. Under the blitz, he gets it away in the end zone. Incomplete. It was intended for Henry Ellard, and Carl Carter made a fine play to prevent the touchdown.
Here we see the end of it. Carter, number 41, comes over and makes the play and knocks the ball down. They had a blitz on the outside. Nobody touched him. He came flying in there. It was Tim McDonald, the safety man. Nobody touched him on the play.
Everett just did get it away. A 27-yard field goal attempt by Mike Langsford is perfect. Langsford continuing his fine kicking, and the Rams pad their lead to 24. Jim Everett has a little internal society, I guess you could say a subculture on the Los Angeles Rams, and they have a lot of fun with it. They even have their official hats, which look like railroad train engineer hats, and they have DD Express. That stands for Dirt Dog Express. And that's what they call themselves, the Dirt Dogs. And here's a picture during a team picture, the 3 ringleaders of the DDE. Jim Everett with his bag on his head and his Hawaiian shirt. And then here's Mike Lansford. He had, of course, a self-portrait. And DDE's craziest member, Mike McDonald, the snapper. Of course, that certainly looks a lot like Mike, too. And the bag heads are always doing something. They have little jokes and practical jokes they play on their teammates.
And those things are a lot funnier when you're winning games.
Yes. Yeah. Also, better tolerated by the coaching staff.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's a lot of fun when you're winning games, but a pain in the neck when you're not.
They're winning big today, 24-0, as Darrell Usher breaks up the middle. And Usher out to about the 38 before he is dragged down by Jerry Gray, a 32-yard kickoff return. 43 seconds left in the first half, and the Cardinals still trying to find some offense. Gary Hogeboom started the game. Last week, Hogeboom was replaced about the middle of the game by Tupa, and here it happened a lot earlier, Hank.
Well, in a game like this, when they're behind, it's very important that you have somebody who can move and scramble and make plays on his own, and Tupa does that very well, and I'm sure that's what his thoughts were. Thoughts were on that.
This is the best starting field position today for Phoenix. Dumps it off. Sikahima to the 40. And a flag goes down after the play. A flag thrown after the play. There might have been some. It's holding against Phoenix. Kind of a late flag for holding.
Holding. Middle of the offense line, still first down.
The middle of the offensive line.
All 3 of them were holding. The guard, the guard, and the center.
Just take your pick. Red Cash is not worrying about which particular person was at fault. And a 10-yarder as Gene Stallings' frustrations continue, I should say, moves the ball back to the 27. Tupa from the shotgun, the 4 wide receiver. Overthrown. Green, and Darrell Henley dropped it. Henley had it and was, not to make excuses, he was looking right into the sun, which can be difficult here this time of day. But he had a clean interception.
4 guys rushing, 7 people dropping back into the pass coverage. Plenty of time to throw the ball. And he threw it right over the top, and almost intercepted on the play.
Well, that was way overthrown. Green didn't even have a chance to go up for it.
Yeah, I'm surprised because he had plenty of time to hold on to the ball long enough to throw it lower. He let it go too soon, and as a result, went right over the top.
Tupa's completed 3 of 5 so far. He's under pressure now, and he's knocked down by George Bethune, a rookie out of the University of Alabama, who picks up his first sack of the year.
We'll see George Bethune now, number 57, come in and make the play.
Well, they go without a huddle and get it off quickly to Ernie Jones, but there is a flag down on the play on both sides of the line of scrimmage, which would lead one to believe somebody's offside, and it's Los Angeles. So 10 seconds remaining in the half.
You know, talking about sacks, Steve, in 1988, after 10 games, the Rams had 42 sacks. Same time this year, after 10 games, they only have 21. But I think that's attributed to the fact that last year their defensive scheme was totally new. A lot of people didn't know much about it, how to handle it. Now they're much better aware, and as a result, it's not nearly as effective.
Offsides. Number 91 on the defense. Still 3rd down.
Kevin Green a bit too quick. So 3rd down, not nearly as significant as only 10 seconds remaining on the clock here in the half. 3rd down and a cab ride. Lots of time for Tupa. Green juggles it but holds on at the 46. knocked down by Jerry Gray. And they stop the clock with 1 second remaining in the half. Timeout called by Phoenix.
Timeout.
So the Cardinals, barring a penalty on the defense, will have one more play. Tupa with a 22-yard pass to Green to give them one last shot here in the half. What would you do, Hank? Would you everybody go long here? Just try to get something before the...
Yeah, I would try to. Sure, I'd try to make something happen. Put 3 receivers on the outside and 1 on the left, and try to throw the ball upstairs and try to make a big play, maybe pass interference, something on the play. Sure, better than just kneeling down and giving up the ball.
John Robinson saying something to Fritz Shermer, the defensive coordinator, and after saying that, he sends Brent Perrinez into the game.
Fritz Shermer does a terrific job with the defense of the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think there's any question about the fact that he's earned the right to be respected as one of the great defensive coaches in the National Football League. Fritz Shermer.
Just wrote a book, didn't he, on defensive football? There's Fritz on the left with the hat.
Here you see Fritz Shermer on the, now he's on the right, and Marv Gould is on the left.
3 wideouts to the left. Tupa has a lot of time and puts it up long and deep. Tip wheel time, but nobody can get it. Michael Stewart went up for the Rams, but it went through his hands, and the first half has come to an end. It has been all Los Angeles as the Rams are flying high here in Anaheim, leading 24-0 at halftime. Sunset at Santa Monica, just another of the beautiful areas here in Southern California on a gorgeous day. It's been gorgeous for the Rams. They lead 24-0. It's been a nightmare for the Phoenix Cardinals as they have been unable to do anything so far in this ball game.
Yeah.
Hank, the big plays have gone against them. They've actually had the ball longer than the Rams have had the ball, but they just haven't been able to do anything with it.
Well, the other thing about it is, you know, they have not had good field position, and of course the interception right off the bat early in the ball game where Stewart intercepted the ball, went for the touchdown. It looked like it shocked the Cardinals, and they never recovered from it.
Let's take a look at the play and see that really the play rather that really started the Rams on a roll. The Cardinals had the ball first, and Michael Stewart picked it off.
Jones is coming to the inside, and the ball is thrown way over the top, sails right over his head, and Stewart makes the interception and goes all the way in for the touchdown. A horrendous way to start for the Phoenix Cardinals.
And big plays have really been the name of the game as far as the Rams are concerned. Big plays have set things up. And then it was a big play, Everett to Ellard. How many times have you seen it this year?
Well, they do it an awful lot. Their zone defense, a skinny post, they call it, right over the top of the linebacker, right at the numbers. A missed tackle by Young, number 43, and Ellard scampers into the end zone for the touchdown. Makes it 14.
And Robert Del Pino added another touchdown with a 30-yard plus touchdown run, and then Mike Lansford booted a 27-yard field goal. And consequently, it's 24-0 Rams as Jim Everett loosens it up. Phoenix actually had the ball, Hank, 5 minutes longer in the first half than did the Rams, but the Rams didn't need it very long as Everett threw for 136 yards on just 7 completions.
And he didn't throw very much in practice during the course of the week because of that muscle spasm he had in the back, but evidently it's totally cleared up. He's loosened up this afternoon and throwing extremely well.
Tom Tupa came in the middle of the first half and replaced the starter Gary Hogeboom at quarterback for Phoenix. Tupa with 4 of 7 completions since entering the game, and if it is he who starts the second half when Phoenix gets the ball back, as they will be kicking off, you can look for Phoenix to be throwing and throwing and throwing.
He better get an ice pack for his arm because it'll be sore after he gets through the second half.
There's Hogeboom, who had another tough outing. He, of course, has been bothered by a hip pointer. He missed some time earlier and came back last week only to be replaced midway through the game. So doubtful that we'll see Gary again, but you never know. Phoenix, on top of trailing 24-0, has to give the ball up to start the second half. They've been plagued by injuries, as most people know, all year long, and they finally got over their turnover problem, and now Here they've turned the ball back over again in order number of times.
And now they're kicking off, and Del Greco is very weak on kickoffs. He doesn't kick it very deep. He's the only kicker in the National Football League that does not have a touchback so far this season.
Ron Brown is going to take it at about the 8-yard line. He can really run, but he can't find much of an opening and gets it out to about the 23. So Los Angeles will go on offense 1st and 10. Brown, who has been pretty much relegated to special teams, not being used much as a wide receiver, comes out of the game as Everett comes on. Rams haven't seemed to have lost anything offensively after the big blowout of the New York Giants here last Sunday.
Well, I think they started to come back against Minnesota, and they showed last week and now again this week.
Penalty flag down as Bell gets outside. I think the play is going to be whistled dead from the start, illegal procedure. So no play. And that has to be frustrating for Greg Bell because he had a heck of a hole out there.
Movement by the left side of the line. Still first down.
Red Cashin being rather non-specific, but this is the reason why.
Here's the left tackle coming off the ball prematurely before the snap. Good call on the part of the officials.
That moves the ball back inside the 20 for every first down and 15. Bell again. This time the hole closes quickly. Ken Harvey, who has not been a big force in the game, makes the tackle.
You know, talking about you like to find out what you do on 1st and 10. Phoenix has averaged 3 yards a try on 1st and 10, and the Rams 8.3. That tells you quite a story there.
That one of the lesser first down gains as Bell gained just a couple. Everett on 2nd down, under pressure, sack. Anthony Bell picks up the sack, his 2nd of the year.
Anthony Bell, 55, blitzing on the play. He goes in the inside of the defensive end. He gets a clear shot at the quarterback. That's a stunt. The end goes outside. He goes inside. Nobody touches him. Exactly what you love as a linebacker or as a defensive end, and he makes the sack.
So the nickel packages are in now. 3rd down. Almost 20 to go. 19 yards to go. The draw play. Del Pino. Again, it's Bell who makes the tackle, and the Rams will have to give up the football. Bell wears 2 wristbands, and on one he has NP, which stands for no prisoners. On the other one he has PR, period, which he says stands for production. He wants to have a lot of production and take no prisoners. He did on those 2 plays. Hatcher, under pressure, gets it away, and Sikahima at the 38 looks for room. Fights for a few and gets out to about the 43. Michael Stewart made the initial hit. A 43-yard punt by Hatcher, who's punting much better today. And a 6-yard return. John Robinson, who has not only been the Rams head coach longer than anyone else, but is now the winningest head coach in the history of the franchise, going for number 65 today.
And he's got to feel good about the fact that they're running the ball so well. He likes that very much. You know that.
13:06 to go in the 3rd quarter. Rams in command, and we'll be back. Phoenix will enjoy their best starting field position as they start at their own 44. Their first possession of the 2nd half. It's only 2 yards away from their deepest penetration. The farthest they've been able to get today has been their own 46. They have yet to cross into Rams territory. Tupa to Jordan, and Jordan will cross into Rams territory. Clifford Hicks and Michael Stewart trip him up as he gets about to the Rams 42.
Jordan coming right at us. on a quick hitting play. Here he breaks to the outside, right in the hole. Tony Jordan, number 32. Makes a move back inside after the block downfield by Green and picks up a nice gain in the play.
Gain of 13, and it's Farrell banging forward. Earl Farrell inside the 40. To about the 37. Alvin Wright tripped him up.
You know, this team hasn't played with the same enthusiasm that they played the last time we saw them play. You get that feeling?
I think you're right, Hank. And I think probably it went back to what you said earlier about how the turnover at the beginning and then the Rams' quick score just took the wind out of their sails.
Now it looks like Gene gave him a little massage, a verbal massage at halftime. Looks like they're coming out with a little more.
You think he, as you like to say, melted their earwax? Juggled by Jordan, but he holds on and gets down to about the 36 for a short gain and maybe a yard. Michael Stewart, who is the leading tackler for the Rams, about to make the stop. And I guess that's really not a good sign, Hank, when on the season in the 11th game your leading tackler is a safety man.
Yeah, when you play a 3-4, the leading tacklers should be linebackers, not the safeties.
Same thing's the case for Phoenix. Their leading tackler is Tim McDonald. Third down and 4. Roy Green in motion. Pressure, got it away. Green fumbled out of bounds, and a penalty flag goes down. Some serious hitting going on as Kevin Green blasted Tupa, and then Roy Green got hammered. And an interference call is signaled against the Rams. Red Cashin trying to sort it out, and the head linesman Burl Toller talking to John Robinson. Boy, Burl Toller's been in the league a long time. So is this guy. And now they signal offensive pass interference.
Offensive pass interference, number 86, 10 yards, still third down.
And it's called on Ernie Jones. Well, Roy Green makes a good play for naught here.
Watch Kevin Green coming over on the right side of your screen. Tupa standing there. He doesn't feel him coming at all. And look at, he gets a hit in the back.
Got one in the face, too.
Yeah, he really got a shot. Normally, the quarterback would feel that pressure. He didn't feel it at all on that last play.
From the 45 now, on third down, and about 13. Tupa from the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Dumps it off to Sikahema. Sikahema stopped right now by Vince Newsom. George Bethune was pressuring Tupa.
That was looked like a basketball pass on a fast break, didn't it?
Shovel it off and get going.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all he could do. Everybody was covered.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing else he could do.
He was about to get sacked again. So Phoenix has to punt it away again. They have gotten it into Rams territory as Darrell Henley drops back along with Clifford Hicks. We'll see what Camarillo tries to do here. 46, and he hits it very high. Henley fair catches it at the 9. So the Rams go back on offense after a 37-yard punt when we return. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram back here at Anaheim Stadium as the shadows lengthen. And it has been a long day already for the Phoenix Cardinals. The Rams have it at their own 9, but they have had it their way all day, leading 24-0. Gene Stallings has had just about everything to contend with. The one thing, Hank, that he hasn't had a lot of today, so far at least for a change, and I'm sure he'd knock on wood if he could, are injuries. He's had enough to last him a few years. Del Pino takes the pitch, cuts back nicely, out to the 22. Robert Del Pino continuing to impress. Carl Carter and Tim McDonald bring him down.
Now here's the great thing about the I formation. Watch the pursuing defense of the Cardinals. See? Now you can take advantage of pursuing defense, over pursuing. Look at this. Bell overruns the play. He cuts back to the backside. McDonald, number 46, the safety, who was anchored on that side, finally makes the tackle. But that was a great illustration of what happens when you run for the I formation in 7.5 yards deep.
A 12-yard gain for Del Pino, who has 55 yards rushing. And a gain to about the 25 by Buford McGee. Houston all over the Raiders in the third.
Houston's a very talented football team. A lot of people don't realize how good they really are.
They've got some kind of quarterback with Warren Moon. Everett on 2nd and 6. Over the middle, complete to Ellard. Outrunning Cedric Mack. Finally hauled down by Carl Carter. Another big Everett-Ellard combination for 44 yards.
They're coming after the quarterback on this play. They're playing man-for-man defense. He runs an inside pattern. Mack is covering on the play. There you see him. It really turns out to be more of a zone coverage than man-for-man. Caught the ball right in the middle area. The ball was thrown beautifully by Everett. And another big play by Ellard and the Rams.
And Ellard over 100 yards again. Ellard and Rice, the only 1,000-yard receivers coming into today. Juggled by Del Pino. He holds on at the 20 and breaks the tackle and gets inside the 15. Anthony Bell and Lonnie Young get him after a gain of 17.
Watch, he's a hot receiver on the play. Look at the safety blitzing on the play. He dumps it right over the top. Right over the top. Nobody covering on the play. He bobbles it a little bit, slows him down. But Young is over there to make the tackle. Misses the tackle. And picks up another 7 or 8 yards before he's really tackled by Bell.
Big play after big play for the Rams, who started this drive at their own 9. Del Pino banging straight ahead inside the 10.
The offensive line of the Rams is really getting a good push, coming off the ball very quickly and creating running lanes for the ball carriers. That time Del Pino saw a little cavity inside and took advantage of it, made nice yardage on the play.
And as John Robinson likes to do, Hank, they're mixing it up with the run and the pass.
Well, they like, in this kind of a situation, they haven't run nearly as well as he likes for them to run. This provides him with an opportunity to brush up on the running attack, because I guarantee you, at the end of the season, you know, in bad weather cities, you better be able to run the football.
That's Robinson's philosophy. And here goes Del Pino to the left, cutting it back down to around the 6. McDonald and Young having to make the tackle in the secondary again.
Now, Damone Johnson, the tight end to our right, is getting a block on the linebacker and knocks him outside, and as a result, the ball carrier comes inside, again taking advantage of the pursuing defense, over pursuing defense.
Herb Pankey with a good block on Carl Wilson as well. So the Rams now with a 3rd down. They're at the 6. That's 3 yards for a 1st down, but it's in the end zone and tipped away. Intended for Willie Anderson. Carl Carter got a hand on it. So the field goal unit will come on 4th down and 3 from the 6-yard line.
Here we see the rollout to the defensive left. Throws it on the move. And there you see Carter getting a piece of the ball, and it falls incomplete. Good play by Carter, number 41.
Lansford on for a 23-yard field goal attempt. Holohan's hold, and Lansford perfect as usual. 27-0 Los Angeles. 6:14 to go in the third quarter. We're back at Anaheim Stadium here in Southern California. It has been all Rams at home today as they now lead 27-0. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram with you, and the Cardinals have been unable to do anything even though they've had the football a long time. More time of possession really than Los Angeles.
But again, they really haven't had very good field position. They had it on the 44-yard line, I think, the last time, but they still haven't been able to do much with it.
Usher brings it out to about the 25 or 6, where Darrell Henley makes the stop. The Rams just went 84 yards in just over 4 minutes, culminated by Lansford's field goal. And a key play, the 44-yard pass to Henry Ellard, who's just having a great season.
We see it again. An inside pattern against the zone. Cedric Mack is back there way deep. He runs it in front of him. He tries to scrape the ball loose. Mack does. Number 47 doesn't succeed. He's finally knocked out of bounds.
Ellard's 14th career 100-yard game and his 4th this season. So now Tom Tupa and the Cardinals deeper in the hole, starting at their own 26. Quick out to the tight end Rob Awalt, and Awalt wrapped up right away by Vince Newsom. Short gain on the play of 2 or 3. Awalt had a pretty good game last week against the Cowboys.
Yeah, he caught 6 passes last week.
And before that game, had complained that he wasn't getting the ball enough. There's the shocker so far today. Tampa Bay beating the Bears, who have really struggled against teams that they are figured to beat.
Now, a lot of people are going to be surprised about the fact that Philadelphia also beat Minnesota.
Yep. Miami came back against Dallas to win. Cowboys are in them now, but can't close the door at the end. Flags go down and stop the play as the handoff was to Wolfley. Michael Stewart is blitzing on the play.
False start. Number 61 on the offense. He'll second out.
That's Lance Smith, the right guard, who moved prematurely. It's always something. Well, you can, I guess, Hank, as a coach, you can identify with what's going through the mind of Gene Stallings.
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. It really is, and especially when you feel that you know, they're not playing as well as they should play.
You saw that 10-10 tie. That's the first tie this year after the overtime period is completed in the NFL. Second down and 13. Complete. Slipping and falling, but getting up is Don Holmes, and he can fly. Holmes untouched, 77 yards for a touchdown.
Here we see they're blitzing on the play. Safety man blitzing on the play. Henley, number 20, missed the tackle. And there it is, ancient history. Touchdown for the Phoenix Cardinals on the play.
Aldo Greco to attempt the extra point. Tupa is the holder. And it is good. So the Cardinals, with a big play of their own, finally score. A 77-yarder makes it 27-7 Los Angeles. Don Holmes, who scores on a 77-yard run in his 4th year out of Mesa College in Colorado, putting the Cardinals on the board. And big play, the order of the day by both teams. You know, Henry, I think if I were the Cardinals, I'd line up in that 4 wide receiver spread formation every down and just throw. What have they got to lose? They've got to get back in the game.
Well, I would even go to a no-huddle offense. You got to do something to change the tempo of the personality of that offense and try to make something happen. Really, what has to happen, they've got to make a big play with their specialty teams or get some kind of a fumble.
Turnovers help. Del Pino brings it back. Gene Stallings, of course, spent many years at Texas A&M as a player and then an assistant coach with Bear Bryant. And he probably will be trying to take a peek at the TV set here on CBS coming up this week, as on Friday, beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time, Arkansas and Texas A&M in a battle of top 20s meet in the Southwest Conference. And John Robinson, of course, coached at USC for many years. Yesterday, he was at the USC-UCLA game at the Coliseum in Los Angeles that ended in a 10-10 tie. He coaches with strong college time. Pete Holohan still trying to get yardage up near the 30. First hit by Anthony Bell, and then Cedric Mack finished him off.
He patrols that area on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and it's amazing. Everybody knows that that's where he's going to be, but he still catches an awful lot of passes and has done a great job with in the offensive scheme of the Rams. Going into this game, why, he's caught, how many balls has he caught? Can't see here.
He's got a lot, 34.
34 catches.
Greg Bell, good tackle. Rod Sadler, who has played all of the 4 defensive line positions this season, with what you might call a form tackle on Mr. Bell.
Well, that time they pulled the right guard and the right tackle. There was some room as those two people pulled, and he was able to follow the pulling guard and tackle and make the play. That's what happens if you don't seal off the backside.
And that good tackle and good play by Sadler kept Bell from making the first down yardage. It's 3rd down and about a half yard to go. Rams at their own 32. Bell trying to cut up, and he won't get there. Stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Carl Wilson had excellent penetration, and Michael Zordich, the safety, along with Ilya Jarastruk, came up quickly.
Watch a good block here by McGee on Young. Watch Young come across there. Look at that. There you see it on the outside, but there was too much leakage on the inside, and he wasn't able to get nearly as much yardage on the play. But really a terrific block by McGee.
Only the 2nd time today the Rams have run 3 plays, and then punted as Andrews on. Low line drive. Sikahema almost ran over his own man. A penalty flag goes down as Sikahema stopped at the 42. A 36-yard punt by Hatcher and a 9-yard return. Henley and Stewart on the stop. So we'll check out Red Cashin for the penalty. Illegal block against the Cardinals. Ron Wolfley, who is the special teams captain for Phoenix, taking exception.
Illegal block during the run back. Number 24 of the receivers, 10 yards, first down.
Wolfley doesn't believe it, but another penalty against Phoenix. Well, to celebrate America's homecoming on Thanksgiving, Brent Irvin Dick will be taking a look back at 2 decades and 2 coaches and the 2 sports of too tall Ed Jones. And then after the NFL today, Too Tall and the Cowboys will be hosting the Eagles in a traditional Thanksgiving fest Thursday here on CBS. Tupa with a double fake, rolling and firing. And was it picked off inbounds? Yes. Jerry Gray with the interception, the 3rd turnover against Phoenix.
they ran a counter play, a counter pulling the guard and the tackle like they were going to run the ball, and then they rolled out to the right and threw it right over the top. They were trying to hit Roy Green on the play, and it's intercepted by Gray.
So the Cardinals' problems continue. And the Rams, with Gray's second interception of the day, the third ball that's been picked off by the Rams, back in business in Phoenix territory at the 47. And the replay official, Gaylord Bryan, is looking at this one to see if Jerry Gray had control of the ball inbound.
That's reviewed by the replay official. The play stands. First down.
And there's the answer to that. Gene Stallings can't get a break in any way, shape, or form. Jerry Gray looks pretty calm. He knew he had it all the way. McGee inside. Penalty flag down again. McGee banging to about the 41.
False start. Number 86 on the offense. Still first down.
So McGee's run will come back, and 5 yards will be marked off in the other direction for a false start against Damone Johnson. Let's look at the NFC East today. Of course, right here, Phoenix trailing by 20 in the third quarter as they came into the week 5-5 on the year. The Giants in the third quarter ahead of Seattle as they, in spite of their loss last week, still lead it. And Philadelphia with a big win over Minnesota 10-9 to put the heat on the New York Giants. They trail the Giants in the standings. First down and 15. Anderson with a one-handed grab, but he was well out of bounds. So it'll be second and 15. Back to the NFC East. The Cowboys lost to Miami after leading in that game. Marino threw for 255. And on Monday night, the Redskins will host Denver. So here are the standings at the moment in the NFC Eastern Division. Philadelphia's big win today, pulling them up tighter against the Giants unless the Giants can beat Seattle this afternoon. Greg Bell looking for the hole. Number 78, Freddie Joe Nunn, got a hand on him and slowed him up.
You know, one thing about changing the backs as often as the Rams have done this afternoon, you know, all the great backs in the league say that it takes them 12 to 15 carries to kind of get in the flow and the rhythm of the game. And when you keep changing them like that, why, they don't get as sharp as you'd like for them to be. And that's a great illustration on the last play. I didn't think Bell hit in there nearly as well as he did or does when he's playing all the time.
And I noticed that in looking at last week's game against the Giants, that Bell was not running with that same authority. Holohan in motion. Third and 11. Everett rolling. Is it complete? Yes. Henry Ellard with a diving catch in front of Cedric Mack for a 19-yard gain and a first down.
And that's what happens when you roll out. Watch the blitz. They're blitzing inside, and when you blitz inside, there you see the blitz is coming. So he rolls on the outside, and as a result, there's nobody out there to put any pressure on him. He's got a great passing lane, good vision, gets the ball to Ellard. He keeps both feet in bounds, and it's a completed forward pass for the Rams.
Henry Ellard with 4 catches for 121 yards today and a touchdown. Now timeout called by the Rams. Stopping the clock with 1:10 remaining in the third quarter. And Everett, for some reason, wasn't ready to go. But with the 30-second clock winding down, he called timeout rather than get the penalty. There's Marv Goo, and Henry, you pointed out Marv earlier on the sideline. He's had an interesting career, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He was a great player at Southern California. He was involved in 13 Rose Bowls, 11 coaching, 2 playing, and 5 national championships. He's 1 year a high school coach, 26 years as an assistant coach at USC. 7 years as a Rams assistant and 110 movie appearances, more than he really had over 200. No Academy Awards, but he's still getting residuals. He got one from Warsaw last week for $23.
I don't think Marv's looking for an Academy Award, but he has been in a lot of films. Maybe about 50 feature films and about 60 TV shows. He was in Spartacus. Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis,
Yeah, he was there the same night I saw it. He paid $1.50 at that time to see the movie.
No, he was actually in it. I don't think Marv's even been nominated for an Academy Award.
And the other thing about Marv is the fact that, when Johnny McKay was the head coach and they'd play Notre Dame, Marv would give the pregame pep talk to the Southern California team because they respected what he had done. He'd been with Southern Cal for such an extended period of time. Nobody knew about that game more than he did.
26 years he was at USC, and now the last 7 with John Robinson here. 1st and 10. Flag goes down, and it should be holding against Los Angeles. Freddie Joe Nunn runs Everett out of bounds, and Everett doesn't like it. He didn't think it was necessary. Tell you what, Freddie Joe is no small dude, but Everett at 6'4" and about 225 isn't either.
Yeah, watch this now. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with that hit, very frankly. Did you? Now he's giving him a little bump and run.
56 on the offense, still first down.
Everett really about 6'5", and Robinson wants to know how come there wasn't a penalty. Doug Smith, the center for the Rams, was called for holding it. Robinson says, okay.
Yeah, as long as he didn't fight back. That's that's what he was hoping, that Nunn wouldn't attack his quarterback. That's what he was concerned about.
You mean attack him a second time?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Everett big enough to hold his own, and he certainly thought so himself there. But the holding penalty moves the ball back to the 39 of Phoenix. Everett has completed 11 of 19 for 223 yards. Del Pino with a big hole. Anthony Bell grabs him by the belt and holds on for a ride. Ball down to the 33.
Watch the left tackle Pankey on the play. Look at, he turns the linebacker to the outside. Look at the big hole he creates. Look at that. In fact, the linebacker runs on his outside. The defensive end did, and as a result, you really didn't have to do any kind of a job of blocking him. Ran right inside of the defensive end.
2nd down, 13. Everett firing low for Ellard, incomplete. Carl Carter had the coverage, but neither he nor Ellard could get to the ball. Just 18 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter as the clock stops on the incompletion. Del Pino is one of those guys that is used in many respects, both rushing, receiving, and as a return guy, and that's pretty good all-purpose production.
And the other thing about him is, I don't think he gets paid nearly as much as some of the other people on that team, but he plays like every play is the most important play of his life, and that's why they like him so much.
He has 135 total yards today. Everett looking long again and completing it. It's short of the first down, though, as Willie Anderson makes the catch at about the 23. Again, it was Carl Carter on the stop, and time will run out here in the 3rd quarter. Rams are in command as that's the end of the 3rd quarter with Los Angeles 27 and Phoenix 7. We now pause for a word from your local station. A view of some heavy-duty Southern California real estate, Pacific Palisades. Cross town from Anaheim, as the Rams will have a 40-yard field goal attempt by Mike Lansford as we start the 4th quarter. Los Angeles already leading by 20. And Lansford drills it through there for his 3rd field goal of the day. And on the first play of the fourth quarter. Rams and Lansford make it 30-7 Los Angeles. Mike with a little salute. That was right on the money. Thursday, CBS Sports presents a Thanksgiving Day special for you, an NFC confrontation in the Eastern Division between Philadelphia and Dallas. And it all begins at 3:30 Eastern with the NFL Today, including Will McDonough, and a special look at this year's top college players and how they figure in the 1990 NFL Draft. Thanksgiving Day special, the NFL Today, beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time, Thursday, right here on CBS.
Raiders 7. New York Giants 12.
Well, Phoenix will get the ball back after Lansford's third field goal, as Mike will kick it off. And I really think, Hank, that Cardinals just ought to put 4 receivers in there, spread it out, and throw on every down, not wait till third.
We ought to have a hookup to you with you on the bench over there and let him know what you're thinking up here. So
as if he really cares, right?
Yeah, he'd really appreciate that very much. He'd want to throw up all over your shoes.
Daryl Usher and Bicycle Heber back to receive. I take it, Coach, you don't agree with me.
No, I think really he's got to do something. I'm just kidding, of course. I really think that they have to use a 2-minute offense, do something, a no-huddle offense, to try to get back into this game somehow, some way, make something happen.
Well, Usher was trying to do something. Daryl Usher with a big return, but Darrell Henley and Clifford Hicks picked him up and put him on his back after a 32-yarder. We showed you the NFC East earlier. Let's look at the AFC East, where New England beat Buffalo with 20 unanswered points. And it was Miami over Dallas, and Marino a big day. That's a normal day for him. Later tonight, the New York Jets will be in Indianapolis. And we'll update those standings for you as well. First and 10, Cardinals at their own 39 early in the fourth quarter. Rams leading 30-7. Tupa under pressure. He will be sacked by Kevin Green. Kevin Green, who now has 10.5 sacks on the year. And that is the third sack by the Rams today.
Kevin Green, number 91, going on the outside. Tootie Robbins trying to block on the play, but he doesn't get out there fast enough. It's a speed rush. He goes right around the outside and comes back around the backside to get a sack on Tupa.
And Kevin Green has 27 sacks in the last 27 games. Second down. Tupa under pressure again, and Green gets him again. Kevin Green got him around the ankle.
That time he took an inside rush on Tootie Robbins. Another speed rush. Robbins was leaning to the outside to get him blocked on the outside, and he came inside and made the sack. Watch him here. Now look at, see, and he pushes Tootie Robbins beyond, comes on the inside and makes the sack. A beautiful play by Kevin Green, number 91.
Tootie Robbins actually tackled Green by the leg, but Green was still able to tackle Tupa.
Well, the time before that, he was slow getting an angle on Green. This time he wanted to make sure he was going to get the angle, and he went inside.
Green with 3 sacks today of the 4 the Rams have totaled. On 3rd and 16. Incomplete. It was intended for Novacek. Ernie Jones was also back there. Bill Hawkins was putting the pressure on Tupa. Let's go back and update the AFC East. We gave you the scores of the games today and the schedule. And Buffalo leading now. Miami tied with Buffalo at 7-4. Indianapolis yet to play. New England, and then of course the Jets. So things are tight in the AFC East. Darrell Henley drops back as Camarillo comes on to kick it out of there for Phoenix. He has been busy today. And it's a good one. Hanging high. Henley at the 19. His own guys will get out of the way. he might go somewhere as he gets up to the 22. Michael Zordich on the tackle. A 48-yard punt. Kevin Green and the Rams have had a lot to smile about as they lead it 30-7. For the second week in a row, Tom Tupa relieved Hogeboom, and the Rams have had the sacks and the turnovers and the ball and the points and everything else today. But Hank, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference who the Rams, or rather who the Cardinals put in a quarterback, if they don't block for him a little better than they have so far.
Yeah, what happens on the pass protection, it used to be that teams would put a tight end or a back on a linebacker like Green. That didn't work, and now they're always putting a tackle on a guy like Green, and that isn't working here either. And so as a result, what they have to do is get another man in the offensive line, play with 12 people evidently, to get that job done, but they're not doing it the way they're doing it right now.
An extra guy on the field against the rules. Kevin Green with 3 sacks today. He leads the Rams with 12 and a half. And the Rams have the ball back. 13-17 to go in the game. They have a 23-point lead. Del Pino stopped right away. Anthony Bell was in there very quickly to grab him around the ankles.
You know, the other thing about running a football, we talked about that yesterday with Johnny Robinson. You know, it gives your team the toughness, the tough fiber that you need, especially late in the season. I think they got away from that when they went through that 4-game losing streak, and now they've recaptured it, I think, a little bit when they played Minnesota, got it back last week, and they want to do more of it here today.
Ron Brown in the game makes his first reception of the afternoon as Everett hits him on the out pattern for a gain of 13 and a Los Angeles first down.
And talking about the Rams, they've averaged 114 yards a game coming into this one. So far right now, they've run for 114 yards.
So they're rushing right on the average.
But they'd like to get that average a lot higher.
They've averaged 241 yards passing per game. Cleveland Gary cutting it back. And the hard-running former Miami product brought down by Carl Carter and others after a good game. Gary is a guy that John Robinson really thinks can be a major force here in the future. He's only a rookie.
Yeah, they think he's terrific, and he loves to play. John talked about the first time he was dressed for the Rams, why he was around Johnny all the time during the course of the game, kind of looking at him and hoping that he would get him in the game, even though he really didn't understand what was going on yet as a rookie.
Jim Waller is down on the turf for the Cardinals, number 66. The last thing that they need is another injury, and in particular to the defensive line. They only have 5 healthy defensive linemen, and there are more often than not 4 positions to play. So they can't afford to lose anybody else in many respects. And Waller, a rookie out of UCLA, has played up and down that line out of necessity as well. Well, the Rams appear to be on their way to a victory here today, leading by 23 here in the 4th quarter. And here's what they have left this season, Hank. They have a tough road to hoe just because they're trailing the 49ers.
Well, then, of course, that game next week in New Orleans is going to be very tough because they're playing New Orleans at home. New Orleans won today, so they're 6-5. And if they win this game this afternoon, like it looks like they will, the Rams will be 1 game up on the New Orleans Saints going into this contest. Of course, San Francisco, as everybody knows, is way ahead of the pack.
Well, one thing about Cleveland Gary that you have to like as a receiver and a ball carrier is he has huge hands, gigantic hands. This is a comparison of Hank's hand. In spite of the Super Bowl ring, it pales in comparison to Cleveland Gary's hand.
That's not a hand, that's a shovel. He can shovel snow with that sucker. He really
He didn't get much of a chance in Miami, and he's not going to get much of a chance here in Los Angeles.
At least he hopes not.
To use him in that regard.
Yeah.
He's got some ham hocks on it, doesn't he? And he's got the ball in those big meat hooks again. And he has a first down, but a flag goes down as the tackle is made. Holding against Los Angeles will wipe out the first down run of Cleveland Gary.
Going left, watch the good.
Holding during the run, number 86 on the offense, 10 yards, still second down.
A very good block on the outside linebacker, which provided him running room inside for the big gain on the play, but they called it back.
Damon Johnson, I'm having a little trouble with that today. Damon Johnson, the tight end, the guilty party.
That's what you get for eating peanut butter before the game.
And I didn't. Maybe I should have. That's it. I should eat peanut butter before the game. So instead of a first down, it's second and 13. Into their own 33. Gary again. Finding a hole, running hard out to about the 39. Lonnie Young and Jay Taylor in the secondary make the stop.
And that's that counter play again. Now they're lining up with two tight ends to get a hat on everybody, and Pankey, the left tackle, and Newberry, the left guard, pulling to their right on the play. And of course Gary saw a little seam and took advantage of it, but he's a kind of a back and hit the pile and come out the other end.
He's done that a few times in the few times he's carried the ball this year. Cox, Anderson, and Brown all in as extra wide receivers for Los Angeles on 3rd down and 7. Everett firing it complete to Ron Brown, skipping down the sidelines and into Phoenix territory at the 42.
You know, he doesn't get a chance to catch many balls in practice, talking about Ron Brown, so he goes over to that passing machine and catches balls during the course of practice sessions, and it's really helped his receiving, and there was a great illustration of it on the last play.
And if you haven't seen one of those, it's similar to a baseball pitching machine, except that it fires footballs. And Brown likes to get right up close to it and have him fire it hard right at his hands.
He wants to make sure the ball is soft, though, when he does that.
You also want to make sure you catch it. From the 42 of Phoenix, 1st and 10. Gary tripped up. Gained maybe a yard. Ken Harvey tripped him up. 10.5 minutes to go in the game. The Rams just eating up the clock, leading 30-7. And a chance really too for John Robinson and the coaches to see some of these other people. Brown's in the game now. He wasn't earlier. Gary's running the ball. You don't often have the luxury of being able to do this in a regular game.
Plus the fact they're getting a better chance to hone up with their running offense, or running attack, as we talked about it earlier. Johnny Robinson loves and feels great after a game when he knows his team is run well.
You see they run that 30-second clock down to single digits. Now to Everett. Carl Carter can't catch him. Touchdown! What a day for Henry Ellard, a 42-yard touchdown pass.
And the great thing about him is once he catches the ball, he runs with it so well. Carter's playing him man for man, it looks like. Look at the time to throw the ball, inside pattern. There it is, right on the money again. Carter comes in the picture, too big a cushion, tries to catch him. It's all over. It's the bye-bye Blues. It's over, and he goes into the end zone for the touchdown. Henry Ellard, another 6 for the Rams.
Big day for Henry on very few receptions. 163 yards on just 5 balls. Mike Lansford for another extra point. And it is good. He has been busy as it is now 37-7. Los Angeles leading Phoenix. These are the announcers on the Rams Spanish radio network. Over 40% of the LA area speaks Spanish. And the Rams games are broadcast by these two gentlemen, Ruben Valentin and Pancho Fernandez. Here's how they called the Rams touchdown to Ellard.
Esto Jim Everett, Damon Johnson entró a juego, va hacia atrás, busca un receptor, suelta por el lado derecho, completa con Henry Ellard, está de pies, cruza la yarda 10, la 5, la 3, la 2, touchdown, Rams.
That's great, isn't
Isn't
it?
that fun? Yeah, that's great. Terrific.
Ruben Valentin there on the left also broadcast the California Angels baseball games in Spanish. He's been doing that since 1985.
That's terrific.
That was great. No doubt about the play, whether you speak Spanish or not.
I think a nice touchdown.
Darrell Usher stumbling forward to the 30 on a kickoff. Michael Stewart and Brent Bernays and others. Yeah, we showed the Rams schedule earlier. Here's the Phoenix schedule with Tampa Bay that won today, Washington, the Raiders, Denver, and Philadelphia. They've got some tough games left there, Henry.
Yeah, they really have. Surely have.
And they are in a tough division. Well, Tim Rosenbach makes his first NFL pass an incompletion. Rosenbach, a rookie out of Washington State, highly touted, highly drafted, and highly paid, playing for the first time today. And the loud cheer you heard from the Rams fans was not for Rosenbach. It was for the fact that Green Bay leads the 49ers 21-14 in the fourth quarter. And when that was announced on the PA, the Ram fans, of course, loved it. That game is not over. So Rosenbach getting a chance to play for the first time this year. 2nd and 10. Complete, but for very short yardage to Jordan. Brent Bernays there to make the tackle immediately. Jordan slamming the ball down in disgust. Here's the Green Bay 49ers score in the fourth quarter. And the Giants leading Seattle by 12 in the fourth quarter. Houston out in front of the Raiders big. Rosenbach, the third quarterback of the day for the Cardinals. Under pressure. And hauled down by Mike Wiltshire at about the 35. Brent Bernays almost got to him in the pocket, but he got out of there. So Rosenbach has one incomplete, one complete, and one scramble. In his first 3 plays in the NFL, Darrell Henley drops back deep as Camarillo comes on to punt it away. Driving Henley back inside the 15. He takes it at the 13 to about the 21, and that's it. A 52-yard punt by Camarillo, who's punting very well, and an 8-yard return. Tonight on CBS, America's Homecoming on CBS kicks off with 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday movie, Till We Meet Again. That's all tonight, right here on CBS, America's Homecoming. And a new quarterback for the Rams as Mark Herman, Everett's backup, comes on. Herman also out of Purdue in his 9th year, and he has this year completed just 3 of 4 passes. That's a pretty good percentage, but not many throws.
Well, he's very bright and knows the system very well. Doesn't have a great arm, but he has terrific anticipation.
Cleveland Gary tripped up as he gets 2 or 3. Everett today over 300 yards passing. 15 of 24 for 308 yards and 2 touchdowns. It is his 8th career 300-yard game. He is really, Hank, becoming one of the premier quarterbacks, I think, in the NFL. With his maturity, I guess, would be the biggest factor.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. I think he's earned the right to be considered in that category, but I think he's going to just grow and get better and better and better all the time, and especially as they get more and more of a supporting cast, why he's going to really be something very special.
Del Pino only gets back to the line of scrimmage. Bob Bukowski, number 95, who is in there now defensively, replacing Waller for Phoenix. So it'll be 3rd down. Jim Everett with an awful serious expression for a guy who's thrown for 300. There's Georgia Frontiere, the owner of the Rams.
She was nice enough to come up here and say hello just a little while ago. She's very proud of this football team, and people kind of wonder about her, what she does as far as the owner is concerned. She gives the authority and responsibility to the people, but she is still in trouble.
Gary again, and he can't go anywhere. Tackle at the line of scrimmage. The Rams unable to run at all on this series. Ken Harvey making the tackle. So they will have to kick it away with just under 6.5 minutes to go. There's Jim Waller, who was helped off the field earlier and now has his knee in ice. Dale Hatcher to punt. By Sikahema. Drops back for Phoenix inside his 35. Hatcher gets off a pretty good one. Sikahema didn't call for the fair catch, and he fooled everybody. Clifford Hicks was standing right next to him, in fact behind him, and Sikahema just caught the ball and left Hicks in the dust. A 17-yard surprise return. 37-7. Los Angeles on top with 5:54 to go. Couple of close friends. Anthony Bell 55, Ken Harvey 56, and Henry, this was not what they had planned today.
Well, all you have to do is look at those two and you know what's going on the field. They're very disappointed, and I think the disappointment really comes from the fact that I don't think they feel they played nearly as well as they're capable of playing here this afternoon.
Rosenbach back in there on first down. He completes it to Mercado. It's incomplete. Incomplete, picked up by Hicks, but it is not a fumble. Phil McConkey got blasted and could not hold on. Jerry Gray leveled him.
Watch 25. Watch Gray. He's keying on the quarterback, reading his eyes. Look at him. He sees where he's going to throw the ball. Hits McConkey. What a shot. It knocks the ball loose. But there was a great illustration of how he was reading the eyes of the quarterback and then got a jump on the ball and made the hit.
Rosenbach has time. Now he's chased out. Throws it out of bounds. Incomplete. It'll bring up third down. Phoenix has run only 4 plays inside Rams territory. Well, we talked earlier about other divisions. Let's go to the AFC Central, where Houston is winning big over the Raiders. Cincinnati already won big over Detroit. Cleveland and Kansas City finished overtime of the first NFL tie of the year. Pittsburgh beat San Diego by 3. And so here are the standings in the AFC Central, with Cleveland still on top, and Houston, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh in close pursuit. That one far from being decided. Rosenbach over the middle, incomplete, tipped and then picked up by Ernie Jones. Ernie Jones with a reception off of his own player. Darrell Henley made the tackle. A 24-yard gain. Phoenix going without a huddle. First and 10 on the Rams 27. Rosenbach chased out again. George Bethune after him, can't get him, and it's incomplete. Intended for Roy Green, and it was thrown behind Green. Stops the clock with 5:10 to go.
You know, interesting talking to Green yesterday. Talked about what he wanted to do. We talked about the coaching staff and their strong feeling about what he's contributed from an artistic standpoint to the receiving corps. And he said, well, he said, really, I would like to be able to stay in football when I get out of football and perhaps maybe be a coach.
Well, they let him work on some plays and help with the coaching staff a little bit when he was out with that broken clavicle. They certainly have faith in his knowledge, that's for sure. Rosenbach hauled down, sacked by Fred Strickland, the 5th sack for the Rams. Fred Strickland, bothered this year by both a right knee and a left ankle, is not 100%, but happy to be back in there. Cardinals will go without a huddle again. Complete. Phil McConkey makes the catch at the 28, but he's covered immediately by Anthony Newman and Jerry Gray.
You see what he did? As soon as he made the catch, he knew he was going to get sandwiched and get hit. He got down there good and low and was ready to make the for them to make the contact.
Now the Cardinals call timeout, stopping the clock with 4:44 to play as Rosenbach goes to the sideline for a chat. And they really just want to get whatever they can get out of this ball game, as whatever they do is probably going to be too little too late. Are we looking at the future of the Phoenix Cardinals here? Is Rosenbach the guy, do you think, Hank?
Well, I haven't seen enough of him. It's impossible to tell that much about him at this particular stage. You know, with as little as he's played and little as he's done here this evening. However, they evidently feel very strongly about his ability and skill, drafting him as high as they did and paying him the kind of money they pay him. They certainly must feel very strongly about his skill and ability.
One thing that happens when you pay a young player that much money, you feel almost compelled to give him every opportunity to succeed because you want the return on your investment.
Yeah, but you don't sacrifice that for wins or losses. I think, you know, going into a season with Hogeboom and of course, their quarterback situation the way it is, why they want to get some experience in there and hope that they can do as good as they possibly can in the race. Now, evidently, they feel that it's going to be very tough from here on in, so they give them a little work.
Mike Kofer's kicked a field goal for San Francisco. It's 21-17 Green Bay. Rosenbach trying to find somebody open. Ernie Jones with the grab. A completion inside the 15. Darrell Henley there, a 16-yard gain, as he could do nothing about it.
One thing that you have to like about him is I don't think he can win big in this league anymore without a quarterback who can move by design and who has great escapability skill. It looks like he's got a strong arm and has that ability to make things happen on his own by having the ability to scramble.
He got outside in a hurry and threw a strike. 1st and 10 from the Rams 12. Rosenbach will run. Slides down at the 5. Just inside the 5, covered by Jerry Gray.
One thing about the Rams defense, they have allowed only one touchdown the last 10 times the opposition has been inside of their 20-yard line. Pretty strong.
Very strong. And Phoenix threatening here inside the 5. 2nd down, 1 for the 1st down. Draw play. Down to about the 1. By Sikahema, stopped by Jerry Gray and Alvin Wright. Jerry Gray has been busy. Picked off a couple and made a lot of tackles. It is a 1st and goal for Phoenix and a goal line defense in for Los Angeles. The ball inside the 1-yard line at about the 1/2. Wolfley and Jordan are the running backs behind Rosenbach. Jordan up and over. Touchdown, Phoenix. Jordan got the ball back. Mark Giroux had the football.
Here you see him go over the top. There he is. They try to meet him in time to keep him from getting the penetration across the line of the goal line, but he is over the top and makes the touchdown.
Al Del Greco for the extra point. It is good. And with 3:18 left to play in the game, Phoenix has come back a bit to make it now 37-14 Los Angeles as they go 51 yards for their 2nd touchdown of the day. John Robinson trying to get things geared up at the right time as we get closer to the playoffs. Well, for those of you tuning in expecting to find 60 Minutes here on CBS, welcome to CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. This is Steve Zabriskie along with Hank Stram, and we're at Anaheim Stadium here in Southern California. A glorious day for the weather and for Los Angeles Rams fans as LA leads it 37-14 with 3:18 left to go in the game. 60 Minutes, of course, will be seen in its entirety immediately following the game, except in the Mountain and Pacific time zones, where it'll be seen in its normal time slot. Rams are flying high. They started fast, Hank, and have really not relinquished control even with the 2 Phoenix scores.
Well, I think that the great thing about Johnny Robinson is the fact that he was able to rekindle the spirit of this football team after they went with 4 consecutive losses. I think it was a great selling job on his part. They're back on the track again. They started, I think, in Minnesota, came back again last week and won that game, and it carried on from there and played another good game here this afternoon.
Del Greco to kick it off. You can look for the onside as they all line up to the left of the kicker. And Del Greco kicks it down there, but the Rams, with all the good hands up along the line of scrimmage, have Mike McDonald fall on the ball. And it didn't even go the required 10 yards anyway. McDonald, the snapper. That's all he does except play on special teams, is do the long snapping. Another glorious member of the Dirt Dog Express. I'd say one of the leaders of the pranksters. Big day for Henry Ellard today, and Jim Everett with a 300-yard effort. Ellard, his main man. Rams have had 3 interceptions picked off by them of Phoenix balls and sacked the quarterback 5 times, so the defense has been in evidence as well. Mark Herman now playing as Everett takes a break. And a fumble, but the whistle had blown. It's going to be ruled a fumble recovered by Phoenix at the 45. So Herman gives up the ball, and Bob Bukowski, number 95, picked it up for Phoenix. That is the first Rams turnover.
See, that happens a lot of the times on a reverse pivot, meaning that the quarterback's going to take the ball from the center and then reverse and pitch it. That time he got out of there just a little bit too soon, and for that reason didn't have the ball. Bukowski was right there to recover the fumble.
And because Herman touched him while he was down, Bukowski was not allowed to get up and run with it. So with 3:10 remaining, the Cardinals have the ball back. And Rosenbach, the 3rd quarterback of the day, in there for Phoenix again, and he'll run again. Tipped up by Peel and then covered by Sean Miller. And again, Phoenix goes without the huddle now from their own 46. The game is just 1 on the play. Chased by Peel again, incomplete, intended for Roy Green. Stop the clock with 2:45 remaining. We mentioned that Henry Ellard had a big day, and for those of you who were not with us earlier, here's a look at Henry's last touchdown. He has gone over 130 yards receiving today.
He runs an inside pattern on Carter, and Carter has no way in the world he's going to catch him. He goes right for the end zone for the touchdown. Another 6 points for the Rams.
Ellard with 5 catches for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's been the Everett and Ellard show, and a big Los Angeles lead. Rosenbach over the middle and complete by Sikahema, breaking tackle down to the 38 of Los Angeles. Rosenbach getting his first chance to play in the NFL. The 16-yard gain. Rosenbach chased out again, firing long for McConkey, who can't hold on. Phil McConkey with a diving effort in the end zone. Clifford Hicks and Michael Stewart were down there.
This is a very difficult thing for a quarterback to do, to run to his left and throw it left. Look at the way he threw this ball. It's hard to tell whether he had a chance to make that catch or not, whether it went right through his hands or not, but it was well thrown, I'll say that. especially running to his left like he was.
They've had nothing but high praise for Rosenbach among the Cardinals coaching staff and front office, but this is the first chance he's had to play. Flag goes down on the play. Rosenbach with time now fires and completes it to Ernie Jones, who makes the reception inside the 30, but a flag thrown on the snap. We'll see what Red Cashin tells us. Illegal procedure against the defense. And that penalty, a rare penalty, but we've seen it a couple of times this year already. The option resting with Rosenbach.
Ball, please.
12 men on the field with the defense. That penalty is declined. It's third down.
So they will take the play, and they will have the ball at the 29. You know, Frank, it's amazing that this is not called more often, the way defenses and offenses change on every down now in the NFL.
Well, somebody has to keep count, and evidently somebody did on that last one.
One of the officials.
You have to have one of those tickers, you know, like you're doing to keep score.
I need 2 when I play golf. 6th play of the drive, an inside handoff. Sikahima breaking free. Still going inside the 20 down to the 18. And 2 minutes on the clock. A gain of 11. The 2-minute notification with the score. The Rams 37 and the Phoenix Cardinals 14. Much has been made about the future of Gene Stallings, who is in the final year of his 4-year contract. And Hank, this game isn't going to help him any, that's for sure.
Well, that's for sure is right, and I really think that Gene has done a terrific job under the circumstances with this football team. I think he deserves to be the coach. I think the community likes him very much. He's got a lot of respect and admiration by his team, but the climate that I feel about the situation is such where I'll be very, very surprised, very frankly, if he comes back next year.
Gene Stallings, who was honored at mid-season as an all-pro coach for the year he's having. Roy Green with the reception runs out of bounds at about the 13 of Los Angeles. 1:54 remaining on the clock. A lot of people have praised him, and rightfully so, I think, Hank, for the fact that the Cardinals came into this game at 500 in spite of the fact that most of their players have been hurt.
Well, you know, as I said, I think he deserves to be the coach. I think he should be the coach. But I think just what I feel about the situation, the climate of the organization and everything involved in it, that's what makes me feel, and I feel very, very badly about it if in the event that it does happen, because I think he's done a terrific job with the Phoenix Cardinals.
And if it were up to you, you would rehire him.
Yeah, I definitely would. No question about it.
I agree with you. I think he deserves another shot. Rosenbach, who ran it inside the 10, drops it, picks it up, throws it, and it's intercepted in the end zone. Clifford Hicks is going to run it out. Or is he? The play is whistled dead, and perhaps he stepped on the end line. And had he stepped on the end line out of the back of the end zone, it would be a touchback, and he would not be able to run it out. Apparently, that's what happened. 1:20 left, and that will turn away, quite probably, the final Phoenix hope for another score. Once again, we want to remind you 60 minutes will follow immediately here on CBS, except in the Mountain and Pacific time zones, where you will, of course, see 60 minutes at its regular time. Rams have had a lot to cheer about today, as Everett and Ellard have both had big days. 300 yards for Everett, 163 yards receiving for Ellard. Lansford with 3 field goals. Gray picked off 2 of the Rams interceptions. The Rams capitalized on Phoenix turnover. Gaston Green getting a shot and squirting out through a hole to about the 28.
You know, the Cards talking about some of their woes this afternoon. They've had 8 penalties, 4 turnovers, and 4 drop passes.
Timeout called by Phoenix, stopping the clock with 1:13 to play. Well, we've been bringing you up to date on all the conference races. Let's look at the AFC Western Division and what has transpired, what is transpiring, and what that does to the standings today. And we just got a late score in the AFC West, and I think it has something to do standings. Here is Denver leading 8-2, of course, and they will play the Raiders at 5-6, losing today. So Denver really in the driver's seat in the AFC West.
And they got a tough game coming up in Washington tomorrow night.
Green banging in there. And the clock stopped again with 1:08 left to play. Let's look at the scores in the AFC West. That's the final now as the Giants beat Seattle 15-3. Houston all over the Raiders. And the first tie of the year after overtime, still tied at 10. A final. Pittsburgh defeated San Diego by 3. And there's the Monday night game. You mentioned, Henry, Denver at Washington tomorrow night. And the standings again, Denver with a commanding lead, the only team over 500. Kansas City, Seattle, and San Diego are scraping the bottom. And a report from San Francisco where Green Bay leads 21-17. They are also inside 2 minutes remaining in that game. Flags fly, stopping the play. Gaston Green had the ball again.
False start, right tackle on the offense, still first down.
Not much for Phoenix to enjoy today, and a different look altogether on the Los Angeles sideline. It's been that way since the first quarter, too, Hank. It was fast start for the Rams.
Yes, and it never changed. It really never changed dramatically at all during the course of this contest.
Green hauled down inside the 35. Or 25, I should say. So he might have even lost a half yard on the play, and the clock now will continue to run with about 45 seconds left. And we have a report of a final score from San Francisco. The Green Bay Packers have beaten the 49ers 21-17, and the crowd hears it as well. And the Rams will pick up a full game in the NFC West on the 49ers. Green again for short yardage. There is the final. Don Majkowski apparently with another good day for Green Bay as the magic worked in Candlestick.
It's crazy, isn't it? We did their game last week against Detroit, and they got themselves in a lot of trouble with turnovers. Now they come back and play extremely well and beat the 49ers.
And they felt they really should have won that game against Detroit and certainly bounced back strongly. We get ready to wrap it up here. We remind you that the coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III. Today's game has been produced by Daniel H. Forer and directed by Andy J. Kendall. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. And as time runs out, the Rams move up on the 49ers in the NFC West and deal a serious blow to any remaining hopes for a wild card spot that the Phoenix Cardinals may have had. They win it big, 37-14. Hank and I'll be back for a final word from Anaheim Stadium in just a minute.